Greetings on this fine night. What brings you here? Is it? Spring is capricious, yes. The pawn shop is always open.
Feeling warm and enthralled by the movement of light, while the mind continues to race forward. Lucky bastard, he's probably on Pyrrolidon. It's tough to come by on the street. A drug developed by the military to treat and prevent radiation sickness. It has psychedelic side effects, and it makes your eyes turn yellow.
How would I know?
There's a note of indignation in his voice. Interesting. Those triangle patches on his vest, you have a feeling they mean something, like they're similar to the halogen rectangle on your jacket.
I was with the Emergency Relief Brigade, you know, after the People's Pile disaster. Had to take Pyrrolidon for radiation sickness. That's what you were hinting at just now, wasn't it?
He's taking it for mental and emotional, not physical pain these days.
A bad idea. Some poor leftist built a particle decay generator in hopes of bringing affordable electricity to underserved communities. It malfunctioned. Radioactive waste everywhere. Probably some of it in you too. We were an all-volunteer force, self-organized, tried to help the fire brigades contain the spill.
Tough son of a gun, this one. Respect.
I lived by the river since I was a small boy. The Esperance. Didn't have the art to let it all go to shit without trying to do something to help out. There wasn't much the volunteer force could do, however. We wasted years in the river mud. Years getting sick. There's a reason why everyone's tried to forget any of it ever happened, and why no one has tried to repair or replace the pile. So much disappointment, and early deaths. Cancer mostly. And we knew all that was coming even as we were cleaning up as best we could. No one's. Everyone's.
So much bitterness.
A bunch of poor people built themselves a primitive nuclear reactor, hoping for the best. What do you think is going to happen? The cleanup happened 15 years ago. I was young then. Later, my second aunt died. Left me this shack and all the assorted junk in it. So I came to Martinaise. People told me don't go there. It's a shithole. I said, people, we just had a nuclear pile meltdown. I'm gonna get as far away from Forberg as I can. Still in the same city, but I like the theory more than the story. Outward movement, not vortices.
Yeah, you gotta get in on those vortices, my man.
Have you tried it before?
It's almost like he's worried for you.
Every day, you look the part. Here you go, man.
Yes, darling. That's the coalition government ordained Pyrrolidon. Straight into your gut. Not so sure about this. Because it's an anti-radiation drug, and you're a cop, not a post-apocalyptic scavenger.
Of course.
falls on the great city of Revachol. Rain drips from the eaves and floods the gutters, washing the filth away. The spring thaw must be here. The snow is melting. Looking up at the sky, cold water dripping from your hat. Grey sky like great battleships, clouds colliding with one another. Rain falls down on the world. Water runs down your bare chest. The cold finds its way under your skin. You shiver, and the city shivers with you. You're not dressed for this weather. You should get an overcoat or a patrol cloak. Sheets of rain over the water, a flight of stairs leading into the ocean. Wave after wave washing the coast of Martinaise, with its motorboats and gently swaying reeds. The ruins of a half-sunken sea fort crumble on an inlet beyond the Bay of Revachol. Ghosts rise into the sky. The skyscrapers of La Delta, the financial district. Faint golden light seeps from the office windows. Will you ever go there? No, you are just one of the hundreds of thousands who watch them rise across the bay from Martinaise every day. Urban coastline, rain dripping off Eternite-covered roofs, cinder blocks left over from half-finished construction, a defunct research and development building, once seized by revolutionaries. An old wooden church stands on stilts above the water. Coal City, end of all lines. Your hair is an oily mess flecked with ash from neighboring coal plants. Smokestacks rise somewhere in the distance. There's a fleet on the corner. A plastic coat is folded into a small triangle under the counter by the window. Beyond that, the strike breakers have gathered. The great gates of the industrial harbour are locked. A chill runs down your back. You shudder like an animal trying to shake water from its hide. Behind the gates, heaps of supply crates, red and blue metal shipping containers, slick with rain. The Greater Revachol Industrial Harbour is an artificial mountain range. Immense wealth resides within, and immeasurable poverty in its shadow. La Drusienne, King Drie's passenger harbour. Cruise ships flanked by dock arms, cranes watching over the mouth of the river distributary. Couronne, the lower middle class. Distributary after distributary cuts the city blocks in half. 7-story buildings trail off into the rain. A silvery curtain of rain over the houses, the class divide. There's the great gates. You shudder looking down at your feet. Dirty rainwater runs veins into the plaza's snow. 2 green snakeskin shoes stand at attention on the mosaic paving of the plaza. There's the great behind the gates. You, on the Martinaise Plaza, a small dot looking up at the sky. Droplets form on your eyelashes. La Couronne, a silvery curtain of rain over Capeside apartments. Tower blocks crowd one another. 4.46mm bullets still lodged in their war-torn stone walls. Hallways collapse from the mortar hits of a war that was lost long ago. Clotheslines go to waste in the rain. Radios play. A yard. Rain falls onto the roof of a woodshed. Coal leaks into a puddle beneath a dead man's feet. He swings from a tree, bloated. Droplets of rain slip from his cold cheeks. A traffic jam. Rain thrumming on the roofs of motor vehicles. Inside, drivers watch water streaming down their windshields. The statue of a king shudders. He too is cold. The canal bridge has been raised. The road ascends. A raised motorway loops above the ghetto. Beneath its concrete columns, a sea of rooftops, woodwork, and tar stretches northward. 4-story buildings as far as the rain can fall. The snows melt in Jamrock. Revachol is the capital of the world. Jamrock is the capital of Revachol. Droplets form on your eyelashes. It's home.
Have a brother in the cut. Where the hood at?
To be in Martinaise, where no one goes, at the runoff point of a long-forgotten canal, in the whitest part of town, in the shadow of the day the revolution fell. Standing in the rain, looking north, where Jamrock Rock City stretches inland. In the rain-swept distance, above the rooftops of Jamrock, a repurposed silk mill stands perched above the motorway exit. Precinct 41 hunches in the rain. Your vision blurs. You wipe your face with your hand. The rain stings your eyes, making you look up and blink. Coalition aerostatics hang like apparitions under the cloud cover. Way up there, where rain forms, rotors flutter silently. Your sight clears. Collapsed storm drains, old sewage systems flooded with rainwater. Hidden weapon caches from the revolution. Doors leading down to Le Royaume. The catacombs to which, for 3 centuries, they delivered the blue-blooded dead. These spring thaw will not last. The winter will return to Revachol.
Can I help you?
A mirror hangs on the bar. The bed is cold and not particularly inviting, but it's yours. The sheets look awful. The sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out and finally close your eyes. And then sleep does.
veil in the Islas. On the surface, the outer magnetosphere, burning. Kidding. Your mind is what now? I can't hear you. The rest is just a word dream. Jumbled up garbage. The pictures are gone. The bed rises to meet you. A thin, sleep-like state. More glass than velvet grinding in your head.
So something is wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad, this dry, this unnourishing. There's something wrong with your thoughts. Some kind of new type of hangover. Oh yes, party boy, and it's worse than the one before. Just think of the shit you saw. Here it comes too, so soon already. A silent alarm goes off in your head like clockwork, barely let you sleep at all. Time to get those clothes on, Harry. Time to go to work in the shit factory.
Good going, buddy. Really? Because you feel even worse this morning than you did last night? You mean, why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think? It is worrying, isn't it? You can't be a detective like this. Detectives need to be able to think. That's not really true. Your heart has finally pumped all the speed out of your system, Buster. Time to get some more. Don't do that. Stay strong. The hangover will wear off. You don't need to keep doing this to yourself. Speed is a potent central nervous system stimulant. It kept you propped up all day yesterday, despite your debilitating hangover. How else did you think you even got up from this floor? You got up from this floor because of a holy vow you made 16 years ago, with me, to wake up exactly 7:30 every morning until the day you die. Don't be silly. There was no vow. You were high on speed. That was the only reason you got up. You can't detect without it. It's that simple. Of course, Martinaise is speed central. You just gotta poke around, follow your nose. You and Speed will be happy again. You will make her come home. This time, it will be different. The door is closed.
Looks like we can get to work at once. The union muscle turned up. They look rowdy. We should talk to them. Everything points to the dock workers union. The belt used for hanging him, the circumstances in Martinaise, my preliminary information. Which may, of course, all be wrong, but we still need to talk to them, and it won't be easy. I mean ungovernable. Martinaise isn't exactly enthusiastic about the RCM being here. They prefer to be policed by the union. These men here. Men who drink beer for breakfast? There's talk of an armed wing of the union called the Hardy Boys, who are responsible for state policing. I think it's them. I completely forgot. Sorry, I had a rough night's sleep. It's them by the looks of it. Loud and nasty, just like the manager said. One loose thread less to worry about, and one big problem to replace it. That would just escalate tensions. No captain would sign off on it. Solving one murder isn't worth a conflict between the RCM and the Debarders Union. In fact, even the death of 2 detectives might not warrant an all-out war. So let's keep a cool head, okay?
He's not exaggerating about that mortal danger, just calmly factoring it in. Your fists clench and your pulse rises uncomfortably.
One more thing before we do. We don't have to talk to them immediately. We can walk right past them, continue with our business.
Good. A power move. Purposefully concentrate on something else first. Yeah, streetwise. Zoom right past. Do it on your own terms.
They're in no hurry to leave. They think they own the place. Anyway, I leave that choice to you. Whatever you decide is fine by me.
Can I help you?
Just a moment. And there's no public phones nearby?
The closest phone booth is down the coast. Sorry for the inconvenience, ma'am.
It's fine, I understand. Thank you anyway. I'm glad to see you again, dear.
The lady is distressed. Perhaps something more upbeat might cheer her up.
Please don't trouble yourself about me, sweetie. I was just hoping to make a call, but the Whirling's phone line isn't working.
A faint smile tells you she appreciates the effort, but at the moment her mind is on more serious matters.
The union office probably has a phone, but I can't really get there, or to the phone booth down the coast. And Gary's phone is dead too. The manager was vague about it. To let the young woman who's house-sitting for us know that we may be delayed. Morel, my husband, and our friend Gary were supposed to get back by Monday night, but they're still missing and I haven't heard from them. I was also hoping she'd heard from Morel. That's just it. This isn't like him at all. He always plans his expeditions so carefully.
A cold breeze hisses through dense thickets of reeds. Something sweet in it, somnolent. A damp chill goes down your spine. When you look around, you're still in the whirling in rags.
But you have more important things to worry about. Just some field work, sweetie. Morel is a highly trained scientist. He and his assistant Gary are studying an extremely rare species of insect. But they should have returned by now. They were just going down the coast across the water lock to set a few traps. He said they'd be back on Monday. What could be keeping them? Oh, sweetie, it's nothing like that. Gary's as loyal as they come. I trust him with my husband's life any day. There's a nameless old fishing village nearby, but we've never had any trouble there before. There is a lot of crime around here, isn't there?
I can't say it's the best part of town, but I wouldn't worry too much about a pair of grown men traveling together.
The lieutenant doesn't want to agitate the woman. Do it. Find her husband. This will surely lead to a cryptozoological mystery with that extremely rare insect.
Are you sure we have time to go chasing after bug hunters just now? I did suggest we played cool, but... I sincerely doubt it. Still, I suppose it won't hurt to keep an eye out.
Oh, thank you, officers. Truly, I'll be right here if you come across any sign of Morel. Oh my. What happened to the water lock? Well, whatever the cause, I'm thankful. To both of you. You've spared me another sleepless night.
You're welcome, ma'am.
I hate to ask, but if your investigation takes you to the other side of the coast, please do keep an eye out for my husband. And if you see him, let him know Lena is waiting for him here at the Whirling. He gets so tangled up in his work that he may not know the water lock's been repaired, and it's cold out there. Oh, you're such a dear. Thank you, sweetie. Oh, yes. A zoologist. A cryptozoologist, to be more precise.
It's a pseudoscience that attempts to legitimize research into mythological beasts and urban legends.
That's one opinion, yes. And people are entitled to their opinions.
My apologies, ma'am. I did not mean to undermine your hobby.
It's not a hobby, dear. It's a subfield of zoology, one specializing in animal species that are so exceedingly rare that many assume them to be extinct or even fictitious. Searching for such species called cryptids is difficult and often thankless, and frankly, many scientists are too lazy to do it. Universities these days are rarely interested in supporting real research.
She's completely internalized her husband's struggles. They are her own.
Oh dear, I'm not sure where to begin. Well, his expression is slightly grumpy, but his eyes are always bright and curious, like a small boy's. And his palms are quite coarse from all the field work, but he's quite gentle.
It's always a challenge to describe the person you know best in the world.
Oh, well, he's a bit shorter than you, but with a larger frame, and he has longish white hair, usually a bit uncombed. You might say wild, even.
The lieutenant pulls out his notebook and begins jotting down the woman's description.
One other thing, he'll likely have all kinds of field gear on him, even if he's not out in the reeds, you know, just in case. We'll be celebrating our 16th anniversary this autumn. Not the most numerically satisfying anniversary, but I like the less obvious milestones even more somehow. Via dating agency, I'm ashamed to say. I was looking to get back into the scene after recovering from my accident, and he'd just divorced. We hit it off, and, well, here we are.
She skipped those unimportant parts. Perhaps you'll find out more later.
I hope I've been useful. Oh, sweetie, it's fascinating, but I shouldn't bore you with entomological minutiae.
The lieutenant gives you a sideways glance.
Well, it's a phasmid, technically, but...
Oh yeah. Here comes the interesting.
Where other phasmids imitate sticks or leaves, this one's a living reed. It discusses itself among weeds here on the Insulindian coast. Hence it's named the Insulindian phasmid. Perhaps you'll end up co-discovering the phasmid with officers.
There's a touch of awe in the way she she enunciated the creature name.
I knew it. We're navigating made-up insects with cryptozoologists.
It's not made up, officer. I can assure you. It's simply elusive, so much so that most establishment zoologists doubt it exists at all. Well, some teenager made out in a read saw one. They did not pause, of course, but there was a brief article in a local newspaper about their encounter with a ghost insect that looks like a reed's. Gary's, that's the clip. Of course, most phasmid sightings turn out to be false alarms. Their description matched the Inzil Indian phasmid perfectly, and they didn't even know what they were looking at. Not at all. Why else would it hide itself so carefully? Oh, I doubt it. Don't get into cryptozoology for the money, sweetie. Yes, it can blend in almost perfectly among the reeds. It's how it stayed hidden all these years, centuries even. Oh dear, I'm afraid I'm not explaining this very well. It is very special. Morel can explain it all much better. I wish you could hear him describe it. Then you'd understand, I'm sure.
There's really no point in manipulating anyone. She'd be only too pleased to tell you about her work. Go on and ask.
Oh, I'd be delighted. Truth be told, I could really use the company too.
One cryptid, not a couple. One. This won't turn into some kind of cryptid extravaganza. And I don't. Just one.
Or he'll be disappointed in you.
That would be the giant of Kokonur. The giant lives in the most arid parts of the vast Kokonur Desert in South Samara, casting a strange light across the barren wastes. A mirage or a psychogenous luminance. No one knows for sure. It is like an awful mountain appearing from below the horizon and expanding to cover almost a third of your field of vision. The towering luminosity of Kokonur is a bad omen in local folklore. Some say it's a fata morgana, others, fate unimaginable.
Who here? No animal can be that large. It's a mirage.
That's what makes it so peculiar. A species surviving at the very limits of scientific law. The giant of Kokonur must be the largest animal the planet can support. There are limits, you see, to how large a metabolism an ecosystem can beget. Some say a gravity anomaly below the Kokonur Desert might allow the creature to grow to these gargantuan sizes.
Great. This is great shit. You need more.
Hey, you promised you'd only ask about one cryptid.
The lieutenant pauses, thoughtfully. Something in him breaks.
Ah, fuck it. Let's have more cryptids.
Well, the smallest cryptid is the Cryobacter catlensis, a unicellular bacterium. It was discovered in one of the northernmost points of Katla on the Boreal Plateau by renowned geologist Caitlin Mijanou some 70 years ago. The bacterial colony Mijanou found had remained alive while frozen in ice for longer than anyone could reliably estimate. Certainly from before recorded history. Mijanou disappeared shortly after injecting herself with the bacteria she had brought back to study, no doubt in hopes of prolonging her own life. Yes, the bacteria had survived in the ice since times immemorial. It is not hard to see where she could have gotten the idea.
It's actually a little hard to see. But do go on.
Yes, and she's quite mad, too. After she treated herself with the bacteria, she stopped aging. but also became increasingly eccentric and irascible, so that even her oldest friends were forced to pull away. We can assume that she has been living somewhere in the wilderness for decades now, all alone except for the Cryobacter catlensis coursing through her bloodstream. I thought we'd agreed on just one cryptid, sweetie.
Your work must get quite frustrating. Well, okay, just one or two more.
The smallest cryptid, the bacterial colony, Mijanou, disappeared shortly after injecting herself with the bacteria she had brought back to study, no doubt in hopes of prolonging her own life. Everything has a price, sweetie. After Mijanou treated herself with, we can assume that she has been living somewhere in the gnome of Jeroma. Oh, yes. None of its victims survived. Grieving relatives never even found their bodies because the gnome's venom dissolved organic tissue. It was reportedly a small creature with webbed fingers and a protruding forehead and a gingly little thing. Quite scary to look at. A couple of campers found it when it was already dying. They heard an odd wailing in the woods and followed the sound. They were scared and wrapped it in tarpaulin to suffocate it. It still took the gnome of Jeroma an entire day to die.
If body of a creature was found, why aren't there detailed illustrations inside textbooks confirming the existence of these very little species?
Alas, for scientists who got his hands on the creature's corpse, put it in a jar of formaldehyde, thinking that would detoxify the gnome's venom. Instead, all the venom leaked out of the creature's teeth and into surrounding liquid, dissolving the creature itself. Poetic and perhaps, but a little less for science. An interesting question, and the answer is yes, there are.
Of course, all fairy tales have someone or something easy, but
It's the golden mama Dakwa. Its name means thin whisper of sound, and that's precisely what it is. Self-replicating sound waves, invisible and intangible. The cult must be very afraid of us, which makes it incredibly difficult to track. Like nothing, it's such a high-pitched sound that us humans can't hear it, nor can other animals. It could be ringing right outside your window, and you wouldn't even know it. Could be anywhere. Everywhere, even.
how can an animal be found?
Many scientists have asked the same question. Some claim that it is itself a sound, but a tiny corpuscle that emits sound waves, but there's no evidence to support this theory. It could be. As I said, it could be anywhere, and we would know any better. It could be ringing all the days of our lives and nights.
Maybe it's predatory.
It's not. Don't worry. If it were predatory, we would have found it by the damage inflicts.
I'm so sure. What the damage is also invisible.
Plenty. It's the evidence that led to its discovery. In the 1920s, a group of Areopagi ornithologists, that is, scientists who study birds, were trying out a new recording technology for capturing sounds outside the range of human hearing. When playing back recordings they had made in the foothills of the Ea mountain range, they noticed certain anomalies, patterns that seemed random at first, but on closer examination were consistent with the waveforms of songbirds. The scientists soon discovered they could track and even predict what appeared to be feeding, mating, and migration patterns based on sound waves in a strictly delimited range of ultrasonic frequencies, even higher than those of the highest-pitched bat calls.
She transforms, when speaking about these strange animals, into a confident woman.
They realized that they had discovered a new species and called it the Koldamama Dakwa, after the Paracanassian name for the voice of God, which is said to be very silent. They grew quite obsessed with these little birds. Even though they couldn't see them, they could distinguish among individual birds and even began to name some of them. Sequester, Time, Joscan, those are but some of the Mama Dakwa they followed individually. That is a sad story. A group of university students assisting with the fieldwork in their enthusiasm for the project, and no doubt because they were preoccupied with impressing their professors, nearly drove it to extinction. They tried to communicate with it and had no other means but sound,
So they started sending out sound waves at frequencies they thought might match the Mama Dakwas. And what happens when a sound wave meets another sound wave of the same frequency, dear?
This lady really should be a teacher. She's really good at the explaining things thing.
Exactly. And these tests were performed so recklessly that when they happened upon the right frequency, well, they wiped out most of the population.
Great regret washes over her, a winding cloth.
After that, the corpuscle appears to have migrated elsewhere. There have been recordings of anomalies similar to those spotted in Ea, but they've been few and far between. It's impossible to confirm the presence of any stable Kultamama Dakwa population anywhere.
Of course, a common thread in these. Disappearance and unfalsifiability. I like the story, though, ma'am.
I'm glad you did, dear. What about what? Cryobacter catlensis. Yes, the Mishanu disappeared short. Oh, sweetie. It's not all quite so awful, but prolonging one's life does seem to come with risks. After that would be no one.
Who are you?
That's what they're.
Great. This is great shit.
Yes, Mishanu disappeared. Mishanu did talk about the end of the world a great deal before her abrupt departure. Everyone thought the bacteria had driven her mad, but she really was a brilliant woman. Maybe the Cryobacter catlensis allowed her to see something no one else could. Yes, Mishanu disappeared shortly while, yes, and everything has after we can assume that she had the gnome of it was a couple. It's still
If the body.
Instead, all the venom leak.
Of course. Okay.
It's the cold like nothing.
Fine.
Many scientists have. What about what? Of course, dear.
You know, to hell with it. Let's have more cryptids.
Of course, officers. Is there a particular cryptid you two are interested in learning about? Of course, dear.
Tremble. The time is now. Ta'ola. Time for the show. For Ta'ola. The hallowed time of fear and disintegration. A countdown has begun. All will collapse on itself. The world will disappear into a single grain of blackness. All sound will be muted. All life will scream. Ulogu Theodos, Xino Zausin, Ipoli Osithien, Echondes Fronisin. Monday morning, the moment you arrived in this reality, are the first crack in the sheer face of God. From you it will spread. Yes, you spoke the words of the Palindropos and the houses of Pericarnassus. Items, people, even words will tumble. All will lose its meaning in the coming years. That is why you marked yourself. It's totally also a coping mechanism. So you should be. The world island crumbles at your feet, and in the far plain, Palindropos. Perhaps, just a thought, this has something to do with the hangover. The face of the woman fractures. There will be herd killing. We all become vapor. Within that is smoking below an exhaust hood. occasionally sipping from his mug. This must be the Whirling's cook. As you step in, he nods toward the table and says something in a completely foreign language. The only words you can make out are Garanci and Kubek. It must be his name, Garanci. Garanci Kubek. Sounds representative. The man puts his cup down and replies something, his left hand drawing arcs in the air. The man says a couple of sentences in that strange language of his and then seems to wait for you to speak. Just one word. Sounds quizzical. Then he awaits your answer with his brow arched.
Boss need more vodka?
Okay, so it's vodka.
We speak Syren. There is no such thing as the Ravacholian language. But don't worry, your message remains clear.
The cook is still smoking, ash falling from between his fingers. His hands are large and clean.
Good thing he didn't understand a word of your stupidity. We speak Syren.
The cook.
Good thing he didn't understand a word of your stupidity.
That keeps the men happy and in good spirits. Clever move by the Union.
Vodka borscht! I love it, Bratan! Turn it the fuck up and then ask for some yourself.
Turning it up seems like a dangerous idea, honestly. The place is a pack. You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimple lock. It's painted blue. You immediately feel drawn to the color. Blue is for mystery. The cobalt blue surface feels rough to touch. The stainless steel door is flush with its frame on every side.
You do? It's a door in the back of the kitchen. Why do you care where it leads? It is quite pretty. I suppose we could look into it as a side investigation. If you say so. Gart is the person to ask about this. The cafeteria manager.
The door does not budge. The man ponders his cooking utensils and gives you a little nod, acknowledging your presence. He looks up at you, then looks away quickly, shrugging and muttering something to himself. Shrugging is an international sign for, no, I don't know what's behind that door. You see a heavy The door does not budge.
Can I help you?
No, I am not a gardener. I'm a legal counselor for the Dock Workers Union. So let's get to it. You're looking for Titus Hardy? You think he has information that will help you? Maybe he does. That's Titus. Talk to him. But know this. I'll be keeping an eye on you. No strong arming. Nothing official. The District of Martinaise does not recognize your authority to make arrests.
It doesn't matter if you recognize our authority. We will make an arrest if we have to.
She says nothing. Her glare speaks for her. You're sure Easleo mentioned something about a lawyer, Elizabeth someone, but you're too dumb to remember what it was.
Like I already told you, I'm a legal counselor. Do you have hearing problems? What you want is of no significance, officer. Don't test your authority. In Martinaise, you are no one.
I saw what you were thinking. You want to say, what are you going to do to me? Don't. Just because it's in your head doesn't mean you have to say it. You will not lose out on anything good by not saying it.
What are we going to do to you?
You were specifically asked not to say that, and then you said it anyway, you junior delinquent. But you still did.
The union isn't going to do anything to you. It is not a crime syndicate. It is a labor organization.
Goddamn right it is.
If anything, it is the RCM who do things to people. But we digress. Aggressive? You make your living enforcing violence. These people are just dock workers.
So you were spying on us. And now you represent murder suspects, just dock workers.
Listen, you Moralington lackeys. You're a mob, enforcing the unlawful privatization of Revachol. 20 fat men in the Occident are stealing it all, and you're their bodyguards.
Fuck yeah.
So ask what you came to ask, or get back to your commanders. Look, a comedian. Do your job, ask your questions, then get out of Martinaise. Aggressive? Listen.
Fuck.
So ask what you came to ask, or get back to... No one is emotional here. Do your job. Ask your questions, then leave. Aggressive? Listen.
Fuck you.
So ask what you came to ask, or get back to your commanders. I don't need privatization peons from a rent-a-cop. Just do your job. Ask your questions. Aggressive? Listen.
Fuck.
So ask what you came to ask, or get back to your... Get sober. Do your job. Aggressive? Listen.
Fuck.
So ask what you came to ask. Let's.
Was that? Could it be? You're a police officer, not a pansy ornithologist. The only birds you should be looking for are healthy women of childbearing age. Oh no. The sound. It's moving away. Somewhere over there. Go after it. No. Too late. It's gone. There is no ringing anymore. Just the sound of the streets. Keep your ears peeled, then. If the species really has migrated to Martinaise, you're sure to hear it again.
I'll die before I squeal, pig.
Fuck, does Kuno care? Kuno doesn't...
There are several footprints in the mud, left by work boots. Anywhere from 6 to 12 pairs have walked here. Heavy workers' boots with reinforced toes and hobnails, all over the yard. pile of Eternite looks stranger now that Kuno told you about his pad. It's nothing. Someone just left some roofing material slanted against an old shack. Because, unless Kuno lied, you should just be able to pull the panels aside. There it is. You see a shabby little door.
So this is the shack Kuno mentioned. Let's take a look inside there.
There are several footprints in the mud. What do you think you are? A super detective? You're hungover. There are several footprints in the mud. What do you think you are? A super detective? You're hungover. There are several footprints in the mud. Heavy workers' boots with reinforced. There are several footprints in the mud. What do you think you are? A super detective? There are several footprints in them. What do you think? Heavy workers' boots. There are several footprints in the mud, maybe more than 12. No, 8 pairs of boots have shuffled back and forth in the mud. 1. Standard work boot. Steel reinforced toes, number 46. 2. Standard work boot, steel reinforced toes, number 44. 3. Hobnailed work boot, steel reinforced toes, number 43. 4. Standard work boot, number 45 or 46. 5. Another standard work boot, steel reinforced toes, number 44. 6. An aberration, light as air, even pace, same make of boot, but number 41. 7. The glowing outline of a standard work boot, number 46, but the imprints are twice as deep as the others. The weight exceeds 200 kilograms. 8. And yet another standard work boot, number 44. There's an aberration in the pattern of the sole, however. The right sole is smoother, more worn.
How many? I counted 20. I take it it's less than that. I never got the hang of it. Hyperopia. Do you see anything out of the ordinary? A week, maybe? 7 days would fit the time frame provided to us by the caller, who reported the hanging.
It is not impossible.
I pulled last week's forecast for coastal Ravachol. 7 days below freezing. The day before, the day of his hanging, was the last warm day.
Correct again. Sub-zero temperatures would preserve the tracks in a good state. The commotion here could have taken place a week ago.
200? Could it be the combined weight of 2 people, one carrying the other who's tied up? Let's say a heavily built worker carrying a similarly built, soon-to-be-dead man.
He might be right. 200 kilograms of living weight is unlikely.
Maybe it wasn't.
There is real, palpable excitement in his voice at the prospect of it not being a giant.
And I was thinking it wasn't the giant of Kokonur. Possibly, yes.
He might be right. 200 kilograms.
I can't see any prints fitting the armor boots the victim was wearing, can you? Someone had to carry him. Are any of the other prints deep enough? Which ones? That's a tree. I think we're close to a conclusion here. An obese person is becoming less. I can't see any. Which ones? I don't know. Are you sure? I could swear you're lying to me. I can't see any print. Which ones? I think we have arrived. I do. One of them carried him over. A woman or a kid? Okay. How do you know?
He knows it's hard to discern sex from a person's gait.
That's okay. Go on. A woman? Okay.
He knows it's hard.
Understood. Anything else? A woman? Okay.
He knows it.
Understood. A woman? Okay. How do you know?
He knows it's hard to discern sex from a person.
Understood. A woman or a kid? Understood. Anything else? Interesting. Let's name it the old soul. Someone operating a workbench with a pedal? Like a joiner at the harbor? Or maybe a drummer?
He regrets it the moment he says it.
No, it's not. Forget I said it. We are not looking for a drummer. Perhaps it could be a driver. A driver would wear out the right shoe before the left. The accelerator is on the right. We should keep our eyes open around the traffic jam. See whether anyone strikes out as a potential suspect. Seems prudent, no? What do I think? A mob of people brought something heavy to the tree. One of them was carrying the victim. They shuffled around, especially under the tree. Then, after hoisting him up, they stood in a semicircle facing his direction. At first glance, this appears to be a lynching.
Indeed, they all stood in a row here and looked at the tree. Isn't it strange when all your assumptions are confirmed like this? Stood in a semicircle, hung him, carried him over, like you're supposed to be feeling clever and content. The lieutenant is saying something, but you can't hear it. Suddenly, it seems like your tie is alive again, whispering, no, screaming into your ear.
What? Without being content? What are you? Mild to moderately disabled? That doesn't feel like something you should do. Live a little. Everything on the damn crime scene fits like a glove. You should get shit-faced on this damn crime scene. Oh yeah, baby! Fuck this place up!
That's not going to happen. I'm not letting him make it into one of his tasks. Know your limits, Thai creature.
Detective?
The lieutenant doesn't understand what's happening right now. You're twisting at your tie, looking sweaty even by your standards. He needs to say something.
Yes, it was naive of me to congratulate us. Assumptions are dangerous. Do you see anything else? A woman or a kid? Understood. Anything else?
Amphetamine. Sweet amphetamine. Maybe this Kuno kid knows where to find more. The lieutenant isn't studying the powder in the mirror. He's studying you.
No, I'm just a regular detective, thank you very much. Of course, detective. Swift justice. Don't worry, we don't have to investigate every trace of narcotics.
Yeah, swift, lightning justice. Faster, harder, justicer.
See that ladder there? It's probably another way into the industrial harbor, no? A secret path the local kids use.
Fuck does Kuno care? Yeah, did you fucking there? Oh, that? Kuno decapitates pigs. That's just a Kuno demo tape. Yeah, to the both of you, watch your ass in Kuno's town, or Kuno's gonna fuck your head off. That's where Kuno gets his daily hit of electric. Kuno Shazam. Kuno rides the fucking lightning in their pig.
Bet you'd like to ride the lightning too, wouldn't you? You feel tired and old, but you could have that sparkle in your eyes.
It's a vitamin pig. Don't you know anything? Yeah, it's the mag. You fucking need that shit to stay on top of your game. Kuno goes through like a tube a day, rips mag like a motherfucker, and you could use a battle.
Oh, don't teach him, Kuno! He's gonna use it against you, Kuno!
You're not getting this, pig. It completely takes away the hangover.
It's like you didn't do anything. Like you stayed home playing with your choo-choo.
Fuck you, pig! Don't do mag! You're gonna OD and you're gonna fucking die!
Good call, Pigmeister. Don't come and talk. The fuck do you want? It's a vitamin, okay?
Oh, don't teach him, Kuno!
You're not getting this, pig.
Fuck you, pig!
Good call, Pigmeister. Kuno.
The trash container stands. The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste.
We're just in time. This hasn't been emptied for over a week.
The container sounds a muffled gong.
We should return later, officer. I don't think we were thorough enough. There may be more in there. Officer, now that you have your ledger back, it would not hurt to start taking notes on the case. Officially.
This is where you say your bed.
Detective.
Hey, dipshit. You hard of hearing or something? The boss man's talking to you.
What, is he fucking kidding? This guy high or something?
Hey, asshole, up here. We're talking to you.
We're looking for Titus Hardy.
Wow. The RCM sent us some big dick cops.
Real big dick cops. Look at them. Reckless. Swinging in the wind.
Yeah, look at the big dick on that cop. Can't tell a dick that big what to do.
Must be something in the water in Jamrock.
Yeah, gave him real nice big dicks.
Yeah. Anyways.
You might want to start asking your questions now. It's not going to get better than this.
These guys are so macho, they're ready to confess to first-degree murder. Ask if it was them. Starting from the right. Boot size 44. Blonde man. In his 30s. Overbearingly masculine. Sitting on his right. Standard working boots. Size 45 or 46. Eldest in the room. Probably mid-50s. Smoker. Quiet. Across at the other table. Hobnailed working boots. Size 43. Gang tattoos. Mesk or Sarah Mauritian. In his late 30s, early 40s. A symmetric burn on his neck, resembling the letters Loss Loss. Has he tried to burn it off? Leave that life behind? And then, standard working boot. Steel reinforced toes. Size 46. The big dick. Wide at the shoulders and lean at the hips. Rugby cap. Fingerless gloves. And numerous scars. A little under 40. The emblem on his vest says Rowing Club. A little patch below it reads T. Hardy, Captain. In the far corner, standard working boot. Steel reinforced toes. Size 44. 40-something. Non-alcoholic beverage in hand. You squint. Is that a plectrum? On his neck. Forget it. It's not important. Size 41. With the light step. Not a child, after all. An older man with a rat face. Mean, watery eyes, and 2 front teeth missing. In the middle, heaving and wheezing, the fabled giant of Coco Nur. Boot size 46. Deep marks probably carried the victim over. He alone is 130 kilos. Add the man in armor, and you could easily exceed 220. In conclusion, these 7 are the actors on the crime scene. The footprints were theirs, but there's a discrepancy. Exactly. You've stood there for about 4 seconds, not saying anything. Hit them with questions. Where's the 8th Hardy?
The fuck is with you, fella? What are you talking about, madman? There's no 8th Hardy Boy. There's 7 of us and we're all here. Or what? You want to be the 8th Hardy Boy? We ain't hiring.
Actually, boss, we've been talking and we think she could maybe...
This person Glenn wants to hire, he really respects her. She? So there's an 8th Hardy and it's a Hardy girl? Who might it be? Elizabeth? The gardener?
Shut the fuck up, Glenn! I do the talking here. Now what the fuck do you want, cop?
So let me get this straight. There is an 8th Hardy Boy. It's a she, and you don't like us talking about her?
That's right. We're not talking about this. This is a private Hardy Boys matter. Nothing to do with your shit. End. You're not cops here. Don't go digging around if you don't want a bullet in the back of your head. I'm watching you.
Good. We are all watching each other. Officer, your question.
There's no point in pushing it further, he thinks. This is already a victory. We'll learn more about this 8th Hardy sooner or later.
So, you're not just here to swing your big dick. You're here for the pretty boy. A real looker, that one. Stinks like shit, too.
They couldn't get him down, boss. He's still up there, stinking up the place.
Funny. But my partner and I have a serious matter to discuss with you.
Container belt? Like we use in the harbor?
Because we took it from the harbor where we work. Then we went out back and used it to hang him.
As he speaks, his fists contract, going through the pulling motion again, savoring it.
We did this. Together. All of us. Until he was dead. That's why there's a container belt around his neck.
No, you don't. What you have is 7 honest men who thought it forthcoming to tell you what happened, so that you don't waste any more of your time. Are you deaf? There will be no singling anyone out. You can't arrest a Hardy Boy without arresting all Hardy Boys. Do you think you could do that? Do you think you could arrest them all? That's for the courts in Les Jardins to decide, not for the officer making an arrest, which we all know you won't be. What you can do right now is go back to your station and write a report.
No. We'll stay here and discuss what happened that night.
How many people have you sent to the Shays? Ever felt remorse for them?
Or send them to Reunion to rot. For 20 years. For life.
Doesn't remember them. He just forgets. Are you hearing this, Titus?
Ain't no use keeping a stiff catalog in your head. That's for sure.
You don't have to keep answering his questions.
I know, Lizzie. Relax. We killed him last Sunday night. Seemed like a good way to end the week.
Known him? We don't associate with scum like that, asshole.
Yeah! Who do you think we are?
Quiet. He came around about 3 weeks ago when that Pines cow first sailed into town. Happy?
By the Pines cow, you mean Joyce Messier? a representative for White Pines? The same company you're striking against?
No, I mean the Pines cow. The stupid-ass cow they sent in to fuck us over. But you know what?
Why don't you ask her about the pretty boy? I'm sure she has interesting things to say when you ask her hard enough.
That's enough insinuation for today, Titus. Officer, your interview is drawing to an end. Don't waste your last questions.
Why? 'Cause he was worthless mercenary scum. And he stepped out alive in my town. And he stepped out of line.
What kind of mercenary?
The kind that shows up when you start a strike. The experienced kind, too. Had Cohoy and Semenine written all over him. Ex-Oranese Special Forces.
A live grenade! Right here in our bar!
This one has a special gripe with him coming here.
I can't prove it, but I know he was sent by the Wild Pines. They hire merc shit like that. Story of every strike from here to Samara.
'Cause one night, he walked straight up to the mic and said, "I'm Martinaise goddamn Special Forces, and I'm gonna fuck you all!"
Really?
Yeah, really. Had a gin and tonic up there, sang some Martinaise paratrooper song, and said he's gonna fuck everyone.
We couldn't believe it either, but he fucking did, right there. Like some kind of animal.
Wrong. He harassed women, raped one, harassed workers, threatened to kill some as a warning.
There's slight unease in him suddenly. He regrets mentioning the rape.
To kill us all, if we don't open the gates, if we don't let the scabs in, if we don't bend over. And that was before he started coming here.
Yeah, he said it was his favorite joint now. Started coming here every night. Drinking, grabbing girls. Grabbed one of ours mid-karaoke, right there on the stage.
He grabbed someone?
Yeah, this girl's on the mic. A beautiful girl, young. Gets into the second verse of Lover Lake. The fucker grabs her legs, starts screaming. "Show me your cunt! Why don't you show me your cunt?" Then, he gets knocked on the head with a wine bottle. Doesn't even fall down.
Aren't you fucking listening? My man is talking to you. He took care of it. They got the girl out before anything else could happen.
Yeah, me and Eugene got her out. Aren't you fucking listening?
No, you're not getting the name. That's a Martinaise matter, and I'm not discussing it with you clowns.
Despite the stonewalling, you can slip one more question in.
Titus, do not answer. You have been forthcoming enough.
Fuck off, Carl. She's gone through enough without you harassing her too. She doesn't need more embarrassment.
What are you talking about? Embarrassment. If someone has been sexually assaulted, we need to...
What you need is to get the fuck out of my face. I've had enough of explaining myself to you fucks. He's dead. It's done.
As you can see, these men can only take so much baseless scrutiny. I'm doing my best to keep the situation civil, but...
It won't be for long, she means. It's true. She was the only thing holding him back.
We hanged him up by his neck until he got real still. Wasn't that obvious, copper?
Didn't they teach you anything at the cop school, idiot?
You're pretty sure you've had at least 2 years of cop school, and many more of active service. Certainly enough to not put up with this backsass. Deliver a knockdown observation.
Titus, you don't have to clarify anything.
We overpowered him, dragged his unconscious body to the tree, put a noose around his neck, and hanged him till he was dead and steady.
Then we left him for seagulls, maggots, and you fucks.
With numbers, asshole. How do you think? You're right, Lizzie. I've done enough explaining here.
No, he hasn't. Not yet.
Weren't you fucking listening? The fucker came to our bar. It happened right here.
Titus lets the others clear out the details, so he doesn't get his hands muddy with explaining too much.
Like what, Copper?
Nothing. Your investigation here is done. Leave Martinaise, go back to your stations where you belong.
I think we're going to stick around, thanks. Some things don't add up here, Titus. I've done this job for long enough to know that people don't just confess to first-degree murder. Even if it is a group responsibility, we're going to look into this.
Good luck with that. You've heard everything a rent-a-cop is gonna hear from us, real law officials. You're lucky you didn't get a beating.
Rent-a-cop? So that's what this is about. He doesn't see you as his equals.
Looks like the circus left town, but the clowns are still here.
Again, just get the dead guy.
Good one, Titus.
We
didn't.
You're pretty certainly enough to know.
Maybe wrap it up instead?
We
didn't.
You're pretty certain.
Titus.
We over.
Then we left him for seagulls,
Actually, well.
With numbers.
No, he hasn't. Not yet.
Like what, Copper? About fucking time.
Establish authority. Yes. Authority. Feverish thoughts race through your mind.
Why?
This is not what he thinks it is. This is a great idea. I'm afraid it's not what you think it is either.
What in the name of fuck are you doing?
But I don't want to give you my gun.
The fuck is happening, Titus? What are they whispering about?
Easy, Shanks. I want to see where this is going.
Merely what?
The pressure in the room grows to a boiling point.
Be careful, it's loaded.
Good. Now put it in your mouth.
What are you doing?
Genuine panic flies across the lieutenant's face.
Fellas, you getting any of this?
Deranged cop kills himself. Citizens in shock as a deranged law official reportedly from the 41st precinct shot himself in the head last night in the middle of a crowded cafeteria in downtown Martinaise. The exact details of the incident have not been revealed, but first-hand witnesses claim that the officer was making a point. Can't say I'm surprised, Lawrence Gart, manager of the Whirling in Rags cafeteria, where the incident took place, commented. He was extremely unstable and had threatened to kill himself before.
Looks like the circus left town, but the clowns are still here. Again. We
Didn't they? You're pretty certainly enough to not put.
Titus.
We over.
Then we left him for seagulls.
Actually, well, this one.
Like what, Copper? About
starting from us and then in on his neck side. In conclusion, exact.
The fuck is with you, fella?
As you look around this room full of sweaty men, swearing, drinking, spitting out tobacco, does this look familiar? You believe the place was called Precinct 41. It was also filled with, almost exclusively, men, sitting on desks, talking shit and wasting time.
Huh? You got a problem with beer now?
Not quite there yet. Push on.
Speak for yourself, buddy. I've been running this outfit for 10 years now. You should have seen Martinaise before it started. It was like jam rock now.
They didn't see shit, man. Kids getting shot. We had 3 shootings a week. Fucking graffito everywhere. You cops haven't shown up since the 30s.
Congratulations on the graffito removal. All I see is you sitting around talking about Monica's titties while there's a rape victim.
So what? What do you want from me? We took care of that fuck.
Don't let him drink that. One more push. Quick. Just don't antagonize him. You have this already.
Titus?
She stops mid-sentence. That's it. You got him. He's going to give it up, but on his terms.
You want to talk to her, cop? Fine. I'm gonna let you talk to her, but you treat her with respect. If you don't, if you question her, harass her, a freight train of pain, buddy.
What is her name?
Klaasje. I'm on due. She's staying here at the Whirling in Rags, a real pretty one. Silvery jumpsuit, blonde. That's Amonju with an O-U.
Shit. The girl upstairs? That can't be her. She knows you drank so hard you forgot you were a cop.
Oh, it's her! It's definitely her! It's Miss Oranje, disco dancer!
Sure, why not? You've probably seen her around.
You inexplicably add cool after the victim's name, with your eyes bulging like some wild beast. Your fingers are fidgeting and sweat starts forming on your brow as Titus looks at you oddly.
I don't understand what's so cool here.
Nothing. We just have a few more questions. Then we'll be on our way.
Whatever you do, do not tell him you know her. That would sound off.
Relationship? There was no fucking relationship. He raped her. That's their relationship.
Was like that karaoke incident all over again. Or like some of the other girls he was harassing.
Okay, enough. All of this is irrelevant to your stated investigation.
He did it before we killed him. He's not gonna do it again. So what does it matter?
It would help if we establish a timeline.
All right. 2 weeks, maybe? I don't know. I need another beer.
Here you go, boss.
I know her.
How well do you know her?
Well enough, Copper. We partied. She's been here for a few months. You mean Revachol? Nah. Our Miss Oranje disco dancer is an immigrant or a drifter of some sort. Been staying over here over the winter.
Don't you give her any more trouble. She's just had some bad luck, that's all. Shut up, Angie. She doesn't need your help.
Titus gives them both a look. They fall silent. What's with all the silences? It's like these guys don't know how to feel about this. You should keep picking at it. And what was up with the partying she and Titus did? It sounded fun.
What do you think I meant? Yeah, pretty much. No, we just fucked. That's all. I'm not gonna give you any details if that's what you're after. So put your dick away.
He really went out of his way to seem comfortable with this topic. That's all you're gonna get for now.
What do you think I meant? Yeah, we did them. What's that to you? God damn it. Get it over with already. What do you think I meant? Yeah, tons of... God damn it. What do you think I meant? Yes, yes, and no. Got some... God damn it. Get it over. Remember what I said. Freight train of pain. Again? Seriously, man. Fine. Fire away. Yeah, whatever.
Officer, what was that? Yes. Yes. The victim? Is there something I should know before we talk to her? Okay, that's manageable. Understood. You were not in good shape on Monday. What you're saying is, you raped her?
Ice is forming on the inside of your chest cavity. Cold sweat trickles down your neck.
Then, don't ever say that again. What else? Understood. It doesn't matter how it went, officer. What else? We'll be alright, officer. This is nothing.
You feel fortified by his assurance. It's going to be alright.
The clowns are still hanging around. What is it now? Again? You don't know her. Good boy.
Okay, this turned out better than it.
You don't know her. Good boy.
Okay, this...
You don't know her. Not the way I do.
Okay, this turned out better than...
Yeah, whatever.
Is closed. There's still a dent in the vinyl where you punched it before. This little depression is all you could inflict on the door. You're just as alone as the last time. Whatever kept you company in this world, what kept you safe, has left your side, never to return again. White morning. It was morning all along. You should have seen it coming. It was right behind her eyes. The words still echo in the hallway. The door feels cold.
Who is it?
This is the police. Can we come in?
Come on up. The door is open. I'm drying my hair.
This medicine cabinet is full of wares. Sheets of pills, haphazardly stacked, one on top of the other. There's also a toothbrush somewhere in there. It's been used quite a lot. Pharmaceuticals line the shelves, sheet upon sheet of pill bottle next to pill bottle. Acetylic acid, APAP, eye drops, blood thinners.
Anything of note?
Pill bottles rattle like bones as you search the cabinet. Paracetamol, histoparidol, something in a foreign language you can't read. Behind them, an unusually shaped nasal spray. Its label reads Nacra.
An opioid receptor antagonist. It's used for diamorphine overdoses.
Among some foreign, probably Messinian or Gottwaldian, marked red blister packs you find. What do you find? This is going to take a little know-how. This medicine cabinet is stocked with drugs, a bright orange bottle with Peptide stamped on it, in sunny, happy letters. Jackpot, baby. That's the stuff you're looking for. Your palms begin to sweat just holding that little plastic container. And your chest swells with pride. Look, it's made right here in Revachol by San Baptiste, a proud Revacholian pharmaceutical company with great traditions. It's speed, man. Just what you were looking for. They call it dextroamphetamine and talk about psychological disorders. But what we're seeing here is some scientifically advanced trucker speed.
Peptide, a euphemism for pharmaceutical amphetamine. Prescription speed.
The fuck are you waiting for? Let's get super fucking preppy. The lieutenant looks toward the door as if he didn't see you pilfer that sweet Peptide. Who cares, man? Who cares what the stiff thinks? Here comes the afterburner. Just put it in your sweaty little hand now. Now that you've acquired some stimulants, it's time for a little pick-me-up. Time to detect. It'll make you into more than that. A mega cop. This is your modus operandi. This is how you've done it for years. Let's go. See? That's your problem. A lack of confidence. Speed can help you with that. And, Kim, it can help you with everything. It's not ideal, no, but you need the zeal. Let's face it, you're never going to finish this case without cheating. You raise the Peptide bottle, press one nostril closed, and inhale furiously with the other. The rush is almost immediate. It tastes bitter and caustic, and stings a bit inside your nose. Now the taste is slowly receding into your throat. The rush is growing in intensity, your little heart pounding like a bird in a cage. A sweat breaks out across your brow. Your jaw clenches. Whoa, this shit is strong. This shit is disco. Time for a little truth. Tell the lieutenant you did some. Clear the air. To this? You kidding? There are downsides to not being on it. There are massive downsides. It's a potent neurotoxin. You're turning yourself into a frayed idiot.
I'm not your mother. I don't care. Do what you have to do.
As long as you remain functional, he thinks. Now, let's get back to work. Spring. Everything is clear around you. You're ready to concentrate on the next task in the task chain.
In the bottom right corner of the screen, there's a speed button. Speed gives +1 to motoric skills. Perception, reaction speed, hand-eye coordination, savoir-faire, interfacing, and composure. This is good before a white check, but damages your morale.
Whoa. In your hand, Pyrrolidon, the double rainbow of synthetic hallucinogens, rare and gritty, a product of the age of atomic power. What a funny little cap. Don't let the scary medical warnings throw you off. It's an inadequate antidote to radiation poisoning, but a potent antidote to boredom. It's not gonna give you radiation poisoning, stupid. Pyrrolidon is a perfect match for a badass junkie cop who's looking for a little heat. You need to lower the radiation levels, your stomach thinks. Slurp it. The container is warm to the touch, or is that just the anticipation? You screw the lid open and look. A little slit on the side lets you just slurp it up, like an oyster. Come on, slurp it. What is he? Your mother? Is Kim your au pair? Slurp it. Slurp the morsel of danger joy. You suck a manly dose of the extremely chemical-smelling liquid into your mouth. There, it seeps into your tongue. When you swallow, it's already almost all gone. It tastes like many things, all melting into one conflagration in the back of your throat. As you look around, the world slowly exists, as it did before. Only now, gentle flames lick at its edges, as though it were a photo burning. Of course, it's just a metaphor. It's just a metaphor. The effect of that otherworldly drop of liquid is slower, more subtle than that of real flames, yet just as warm. This warmth, it makes you want to share your discovery with Kim.
I'm happy for you.
His glasses turn golden as the fire reflects off the lenses. Once again, you are filled with the certainty this man is your brother. Just don't mix it with anything, he thinks, looking you over. Thankfully, his sense of balance seems okay. Whatever, I'm not getting involved. Wow, Kim's badass. Or he's had a druggie partner. Whoa, that's probably it. He's seen it before. Look at all these guys go off like fireworks as information pours into you about the lieutenant's simple remark, "I'm happy for you." This stuff is great. Why not? This government-developed substance seems very non-intrusive. You could even operate heavy machinery, fire machinery. Already you can tell you're going to be slurping a lot more Pyrrolidon. This stuff is going to give you insight into that little flickering light hidden in all human beings.
In the bottom right corner of the screen, there's a Pyrrolidon button. It gives +1 to psyche skills: empathy, suggestion, authority, inland empire, esprit de corps, and volition. This is good before rolling a white check, but damages your health.
This window is pristine on the inside, unlike the one next to it. Light from the desk lamp reflects off the glass in an untarnished golden halo. Smooth as ice, there are spots of mud and rain on the outside, even smudges. But the surface of the window is clear from the inside. No chips, no hairline fractures. Following your lead, the lieutenant leans in closer to inspect the surface.
Looks like it, yes.
You know which window has not been recently replaced? Yes, that one. Cold wind is seeping in right now. Just one floor below you. Messing up your concentration here.
Stop distracting him! He has work to do! Plus, if I recall, the window has been giving him shit ever since he got here!
One have made their way around the building. They say a portal to hell has opened in there. They also say it's why the cleaning lady quit.
I'm Kim Kitsuragi. I'm a detective from Precinct 57. I believe you have already met my colleague from Precinct 41.
Have I ever? Have you grown accustomed to your role as a police officer? Like riding a copper-cycle.
There is the tiniest bit of flattery in there. The way her eyes move from your shoulder to shoulder.
Miss, we are investigating the murder of the man who was hanged. The people responsible have asked us to talk to you.
Huh. I see.
Be careful. Ask something else first. When you go there, use words like, I hear you have been through something difficult.
Yeah, it's pretty deluxe.
No one likes to talk about their dirty laundry and their empty bottles. Maybe if you phrase it emotionally.
Yeah, I've contaminated it pretty bad. The contamination spreads from room to room. First, I escaped upstairs. The SAD got that too. Then I found the handle for the summer door. For me, it's a mix of me with a lack of cleaning services. How about you? Talk around the establishment is, you have an industrial SAD spill in there.
Somewhere below, military-grade SAD is dripping off the walls. You should say the first thing. It's honest. It will lead to introspection.
That's where it always comes from, isn't it? From the head and from the past. Sounds like an advanced form of what I've got, with a bit of old love sprinkled on top. Love is terror.
Sheer terror, panic, and screaming.
I'm wintering.
How long have you been staying here?
About 4 months. I came in November. Here in the Whirling, here in Martinaise, or here in Revachol? Because it's the funkiest building in Martinaise, and because all the other buildings are bombed to hell. I'm
How long?
About 4 months. Here in the Whirling, here in Martinaise, or here in... I heard this is where the washed-up disco has-beens go.
She looks at you and nods.
I'm
How long?
About here in the Whirling. I always wanted to see the only city in the world in the worst time of the year. It's a tourist thing. I'm
How long?
About 4 months. Funky. I'm wintering.
How long have you?
About 4. Here in the world. I heard this is where the washed-up disco has-beens go. I'm really not. I'm
How long?
About 4. Here in the... I heard this is where the washed-up disc... If you say so, officer. If you say so. Thank you. I've put a lot of time and effort into it.
Technically, possession of narcotics is legal in Revachol, but you should still reprimand her. No, don't listen to the stiff. Be cool.
With money, sir. It's not exactly the NT-star size caboodle I intend for it to be one day, but it's getting there. Comes in handy when you've done too many opioids.
Is that something that happens to you often, miss?
Better safe than sorry. Oh, yes. One of my favorites. It cures many ailments. Like not being able to stay up for 36 hours, not being happy. It cures those ailments. It's just a merit speed molecule, basically. Huh? Motherfucker took my Peptide? Looks like you owe me one, officer. I'm talking serious corruption here.
This does not amount to actual corruption. I can easily log it under confiscation.
Robbed by common highwaymen.
She's not angry, but it's true. She's gonna have to find some more Peptide now.
It is.
The lieutenant makes a note in his notebook. He finds the answer unsatisfying.
Okay. Klaasje Amandu. Vredefort, Republic of Oranje. A bad memory, officer. Of lilacs and lightning. Parks, glass, duraluminium. Vredefort is a conference city. It's always autumn there. A night. At least it was for me.
What's so bad about that?
Nothing. If you're no longer there. I'm 28. Something stupid.
Wanna hear what's stupid? Somewhere in a one-room apartment on Boogie Street, a young man shows Patrol Officer Tilbrook his genital warts, asking if they're cancer. His partner, Emil Mullins, can't be there. He's in another apartment with another man who's showing him a dead dog under the radiator. It's dead, Mullins says. No, the man replies. I touched him. He's warm. He's warm, Mullins replies, because he's under the radiator.
Martinaise lit. Martinaise literature. It's what I studied at the university. Fear of failure, fear of death, how it sucks to be Martinaise. All national literatures are... Only the name of the nation changes.
If that's true, then Revacholian lit would fit you like a glove.
Nothing. I do nothing with it. Cool. I've made more money by just being than I have with Martinaise lit. Many things. A roller skating instructor, a secretary, Miss Oranje 37.
It's the world's most tired smile. Miss Oranje, now there is something you should linger on. All things considered, very. Now linger.
It's a beauty pageant, held in the year of our century 37, in Oranje. It's a competition for stupid girls. Men look at them and choose the most beautiful. When you have the fewest deviations from the norm, I've been told it's a type of mediocrity that I possess. No, I was the most stupid and mediocre, and I got a crown and a sash and a scepter for it, and a scholarship to study Oranese lit. When you have, yes, and for that I got a crown and a sash and a scepter, and a scholarship to study Oranese lit. I would offer you coffee, but it's garbage. Literally tastes like poison. I'm afraid you can't, officer.
Why is that?
Because it's buried in a sealed plastic bag at an undisclosed location on the coast, along with cash and airline tickets.
Thank you for your candor. Why?
They say so in your tourist brochure. Keep travel documents away from your person when west of the river. If I were to lie to you, I would come up with a more mainstream name than Klaasje Mondu. It's a weird name. Look, officers, I like this place, but I don't want to be stuck wandering the city like a ghost after being robbed of my travel documents. I don't want to become an indentured servant in a brothel on Boogie Street, and I don't want my relatives to pay the ransom. Okie dokie.
If any of this made her nervous, it certainly doesn't show in her expression or her movements.
The record. So official. Yeah? All right. Yes, you're just one room away. Very personal.
You do not need to know that. What you need is to ask normal police questions, like...
Get a grip, he thinks. At least do your personal stuff when I'm not here. Quick, say something professional.
Something difficult? I've been through at least half a dozen difficult things. Which one do you mean? By sexually assaulted, you mean raped?
Yes.
It's a bit early in the morning for raped, isn't it?
She sounds positively buoyant, vivacious, totally unbothered. She looks around. The sun has risen over the sea. People are rushing to work below.
It is. It's murderously early. I'm amazed I'm awake. Why am I even awake? Yeah, I'm gonna go with not raped. I don't want to say that shit about him.
By him, she must mean the victim.
Tell them it's not my style. They'll have to, if they want to jazz up the charges, they'll have to get someone more, rapeable.
Are you saying that you were asked to tell us you were assaulted?
Not explicitly, but I understood what they meant. It wouldn't hurt to spice things up a bit. Some assault and battery. Sexual assault, maybe. It was clear the latter would be spicier. Pretty much.
Warming them.
I'm 89% sure. You know how it is.
Do you?
Maybe you don't. In conclusion, officer, I'm gonna go with a mild to medium, not raped here.
She takes a long, hard drag of her cigarette, then stretches her neck.
I'm 89% sure. You know how it is. I'm sorry, I can't do it. Not right now. Later, maybe. I keep seeing him. Like he is now. I can't talk about his, I don't know, hair.
I know it's difficult, miss. We can return to it later.
She meant she sees him in her dreams.
You have? Not like I do, I imagine.
She sees them in each other's arms.
Yes. And then he's dead. His mouth agape.
She dips the cigarette in the lighter's flame and inhales, then looks at you with her lungs full of smoke.
I can see the similarity, yes. He had something to do with the strike. One has been roiling since I got here. Rotten timing. But you probably know all about it.
And his role in this strike was what?
I think he was in a security detail. He was ex-military, worked for Wild Pines, and against the Union. We didn't discuss work much, if you know what I mean. But I understood it was dangerous.
And they lynched him for it?
She nods.
They're frequent guests. Downstairs, they have a booth for Union members. They're probably down there now. Over drinks. It's been a long, boring winter. A little, yeah.
Like you partied with the deceased?
No, not as hard.
I'm sorry to have to ask this, but have you had a physical relationship with any of the Hardy Boys?
I have. Which ones, sir? I don't remember precisely. Titus, obviously. But as I said, it's been a long winter.
Could that have been part of the reason they hanged him?
I hope not. Actually, I know that's not the reason. I'm careful about that kind of thing. Not crossing the wires, you know? But that's probably where they got the rape idea. Men like that? I don't know. It's the way their imaginations work. I suspect it's what they'd like to do to me.
She changes balance from one foot to another, crossing her legs. She breathes a silvery sigh of relief and weariness. The air on the roof feels humid.
Should we head by downstairs, officer? We may have things to discuss there.
She nods. Silvery cigarette fumes disappear into her mouth.
Not my favorite topic, but okay. How about we, change the subject to something more lighthearted now? Why not? I'll be here until 11 p.m., drinking coffee, most likely.
Looks like we have more to discuss with those so-called Hardy Boys. Half their reasoning just went out the window. Nothing will make them respect the RCM, but it will disrupt the game they prepared for us. We just stripped off one layer of whatever it is. Her decision to not corroborate their story was definitely not part of the plan. What else could she have done? Lie? She saw there was no way to lie and get away with it. If not you, then me. It was a smart move from her. You think so? She seemed forthcoming. Unusually so. Being forthcoming about some things is a good way to obscure other things. The best liars are always forthcoming. Anyway, we should move. I suspect our investigation will bring us back here soon enough.
Officer, Is it fine?
Soft, light brown eyes look back at you, directly into the space behind your eye sockets. You see the smoke rise from between her painted red lips. She's beautiful. I have bad news for you. You know these guys? Who? Me? Yes, you. He's talking about you, you groveling sycophant. You too. Me? Get out of here. I'm solid. These guys are compromised. She's got them singing along to her tune. The little bleeps and bloops you trust for info, you can't trust them anymore. Believe it. There's no way of knowing. At the moment, I'm afraid it's best to assume. All of them. Bullshit, man. I ain't compromised. Especially that guy. That guy's the most compromised one in here. No fucking way, man. I just want a drag of that sweet menthol ziggy. Really? Quick, tell me what's under her jumpsuit. Glory, truth, softness. Protect her. She wants you. I take it back. He's got it pretty bad. But this next guy's on another level entirely. She likes you. The crown head is a boring condom. He's jealous. This is human nature. How it always does, through subtlety. There's nothing you can do about it. You are how you are, and she is how she is. Things will go as they do. No. It's better to know you're being played than to be played without knowing it, is it not? I think it's safe to assume, yes, Mr. Thespian here hasn't been speaking up. If he were, I suspect there would be paeans to her truthfulness. Like this. No, he's not going to show up. I'm sorry, your lie detection isn't working. It's not her doing. He's just totally inept. It looks like you're also an idiot, but that's not her fault. No, not an idiot. You're just more of a sensitive type. Thinks with his heart. This woman's pain draws you in. You can't draw a sound conclusion. The one who usually does says, huh? No, Mr. Conclusion. You're always kind of limited in your analytical abilities. That's not her fault, but still. Don't worry. It's only been 4 or 5 seconds. You've got this. The silence broken. She exhales a little cloud of smoke and says,
God, no.
The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight. It's barred from the inside. You hear the bar rattle in the brackets.
I don't know. It is not the first closed door we found in this building. There is also your mysterious blue kitchen door. I don't know. The further we get, the more this building seems to be tied to the case.
Below, the hostel cafeteria creaks and groans under your added weight. A skeleton of composite support beams and cantilevers. A dull thump. Somewhere inside, a wind brace rattles from the imperceptible motion of the building.
The vigilantes, the cadaver, and a number of people connected to the case are in or around this building. This door is part of it. It's not unimportant. I hate it when that happens.
The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight. You kick it, gung-ho style. Entering the premises style. But the door fails to respect the force. All you hear is the bar rattling inside, laughing at you.
All right, let's trash the place.
Let's not.
Your foot is ready to explode and punish this object. The door receives a thorough disciplining. Its pain and groveling is much to your liking.
Suck on that, door.
The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight.
All right.
Let's not.
Your foot, the sturdy wood door. The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight.
Let's not.
Your foot is the sturdy wood door as it's barred from the inside. You hear the bar rattle in the brackets.
All right.
Let's not.
Your foot is barred from the inside. It's barred from the inside. You hear the bar rattle in the brackets. Something cracks inside. It is an unbelievably satisfying sound.
Nice.
Filling you with a belief in your own body.
Sounds like the property damage wasn't in vain, at least. Would it hurt to look in?
You clearly see footprints in the downy carpet of dust covering the workshop floor.
Jackpot. These, unlike everything else here, are new. 3 weeks maximum from the dust coverage. It could easily have been 1 week too. You know, officer.
This is good. He likes it. There's a little smile there, in the dark of the workshop.
It was a stereo investigation after all. It has now converged with our main investigation, adding a new fact to consider. It means someone snuck through what seems like a secret route, behind our rape victim's room, in the recent weeks. This may prove to be significant.
Large prints, most likely made by boots. The size is hard to determine. Sole could be bigger than vamp. The soles have left a pattern, uniform, horizontal lines.
The size looks about the same, actually. They're not the same shoe, but they could be the same person. No, these little horizontal lines are different. They look custom-made to me, or some kind of foreign print. Hard to say. Still a boot, though.
Everything around you is quiet. The prints crisscross the workshop floor. over there, in the corner. Not just any pinball machine. This is the pinnacle of pinball. Cornelius Gordy and the Mountain Goats. It's lit. You can't wait to get your hands on it.
The pinball machine. Gordy's Goats. A classic. A little.
Feels like a lot. Too much to play it again.
Ah, great.
Cornelius Gordy and the Mountain Goats reads the golden lettering on top of the back box. There's a small column of text underneath. The machine is coin operated. Get the game on, Fingerboy. Those flippers are ready. Above the painting of a mustached man climbing a hill, a column reads, inspired by the legend of Cornelius Gordy, taken onto the world's tallest peak, Corpus Windy. The Memesk legend holds that when the nation is in danger, heroic Gordy shall return and save his people. The theme of the game is to explore Gordy's climb through the perspective of goats and to ascend to the top of the mountain in a time of trouble. The peak of the mountain is at the top of the playfield. All the balls have small goat icons on them and represent the goats as they race up and down the mountain. Areas around the playfield represent Gordy's climb, places he was said to have camped, which the goats can discover. Get them to the summit. Indeed, think of them as balls. It takes a while to get into a rhythm, but pretty soon you're able to keep 3 goat-faced balls in play with relative ease. Go, Fingerboy.
I feel sorry for the goats. If they only knew the kind of guy old Cornelius really was. The kind of a guy who uses the word savages a lot when recounting his travels. A masked nationalist. An avid huntsman too. He was often photographed in his dining hall, surrounded by a wall-mounted hunting trophy from every continent. He also hit his wife and kids, other people's kids too, sometimes pets. Hateful little man. But you seem to be having fun.
Your game is definitely improving. The jolly goats are flying all over the board. And although a few plummet to their deaths, you're never left with less than 3. Suddenly, a special passage leading to the summit slides open at the top of the board. This is where the balls need to go. Maneuvering a goat ball into a position for a perfect hit isn't easy. More fall to their deaths. But finally, the opportunity presents itself. One of them gets through. The words "Pale Rupture" light up on the speaker panel and the machine starts filling with a thick, milky fog. Something's happening.
Congratulations. This is where the game ends. It's a cheap way of getting more money out of the players. A stupid, nihilistic finale.
There's so much fog, you can barely see anything. Some is actually leaking out of the machine, and one by one, your goats start slipping, disappearing into the milky nothingness. Lucky goats, the fog looks soft and inviting. This can be navigated. The balls leave almost imperceptible disruptions in the fog. Use them to calculate where they hit next. The amount of focus it takes to predict when a ball goat is in striking range is staggering, but it can be done. Focus. You're down to your last goat, going mostly by sound. Eyes are useless at this point, but that goat is something special. 5 times you snatch him back from the jaws of death.
I am. I've seen it before. Played it too. You will eventually make a mistake and then it's all over. I've been wondering the same.
There goes nothing, finger boy. The machine is dead and silent. It needs serious maintenance before anyone can play again. You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimple lock. It's painted blue.
There must be a key somewhere. Probably somewhere in the whirling. It's not too important. We can get in and out using the roof door.
This small elevator is dimly lit by a bulb that's been glowing for ages. The latticed cage is open, inviting you to step inside. Smells of nougat and sweat. Your head brushes up against the ceiling. There is a control panel to your right, and just enough room for 2 people to fit in. There are large rectangular buttons, monter, descendre, and an international call for emergency assistance. That third one appears to be broken.
Seems so, although it's pretty quaint for a freight elevator.
So this is where they brought 40 pinball machines to fix them up, a long time ago. Everything is covered with dust now. The lieutenant looks around the dusty, crowded room, inspecting the tools on the shelf.
At some point, 20 years ago, 15 maybe, before pinball went out of vogue. Looks like it. I'm guessing Martinaise North 22 used to be a pinball arcade before it became a hostel. There are machines left over. Downstairs in the hall, next to the main door. One of them even works. I've seen one of the artists bang away at it.
Are still hanging around. What is it now? Fuck! I knew that fucking whore couldn't be trusted.
A whore, huh? A lot of that going around lately, from the mouths of distressed men. Whatever the case, you've hit a nerve. He's angry. No, more than that. He feels betrayed.
For the record, Titus Hardy did not explicitly specify the victim as a whore, nor did he say anything about trusting her.
Oh, shut up and stay out of this, Liz. He raped her. He was out of his fucking mind. You have no idea.
She's just in denial, asshole. You don't understand the traumatic experience. She's shutting down, and she doesn't fucking trust you.
Yeah, she's crazy, you know. A crazy bitch. You know the type. She's fucked up.
Lawman, I'm at the end of my goddamn rope with you. I fucking told you not to push her.
His hands become fists.
And you went and pushed her. I am gonna fucking...
Titus Hardy.
Success. Titus backs off. Fists down, everybody. Goddamn, no one tells you to put your fists down.
Everett personally sent me to take care of this. If this goes south, we'll all be in the shit. But you, Titus Hardy, are going to be buried. Am I understood?
Someone has to rush in to break the tension. The second in command.
Look, Copper. We know that that fuck was a rapist and a killer. We got him confessing to it on tape. Show it to him, T. What's the harm, right?
Here, jerkwad, listen to this shit, and then come back and tell me the soldier of the apocalypse was an innocent man.
Another apocalyptic actor in town?
I'm sure we can find a tape player.
Where can I listen to this? Why don't you try shoving it up your ass, genius?
Yeah, play it with your ass, cocksucker.
I'm sure we can find a tape player. It's not a problem.
You think we go into this shit deaf and dumb? You RCM aren't the only ones who know how to bug people. There's no university degree for that. We have machines. We're in logistics. How do you think a harbor works? It's advanced stuff.
Understood? You've listened in on their communications. How long?
Since way before their chief started taking swing lessons.
Things got nice and quiet after that.
It's not advanced. You just hold up in a coop all day, writing down what they say. It gets hot as hell in there.
Don't put yourself down, Angus. It's important work.
Yeah, man. You're like a radio genius or something. Those notes are some in-depth stuff. Indexes and shit.
What's on it? We call it the door gun a mega mix. You'll know why. Won't you listen to it? You don't care about evidence. The fuck are you a cop for, then?
Pigs, T. They don't care about getting the truth. They care about getting convictions. They are fucking keeping a score on their bulletin boards.
I won't be on your bulletin board. If you don't listen to the tape, we got nothing to talk about. Don't forget your tape, lawman. Compliments of Titus Hardy. You do that. Oh, and keep it. Maybe you'll need a reminder of human ugliness someday. Yeah? What about it? You do that, lawman.